Strategic partnership, the results of the visit of the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan to Kazakhstan. Iran is willing to strengthen cooperation with Kazakhstan. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Iran, Mohammad Zarif, has visited Astana. Who will become the president of Kazakhstan for the upcoming 5 years? 9.5 million Kazakh citizens will vote to elect a new head of state on April 26. The entire country is actively preparing for the elections. Integration and security challenges are high on the meeting agenda in the city on the Neva River. St. Petersburg has hosted the meeting of the CSTO Parliamentary Assembly Council. The great legacy of Korkyt Ata, influence on the contemporary world music. 200th anniversary of the first publication of the book about the legendary composer, creator of the world's most ancient string instrument, was celebrated in Paris.
Good evening, I'm Rahim Shakbayev, and this is Kazakhstan Weekly, where we summarize the major local and international news for the past week. Our tonight's guest is a known public figure, Ali Akhmetov. Mr. Akhmetov, I'm glad to see you.
Good evening.
President of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, has paid state visit to Kazakhstan this week. Turkey is one of the most closest and reliable partners of Kazakhstan. Turkey and Kazakhstan are countries whose life was concentrated around the Great Silk Road. They continue to perform a role of a bridge between East and West. The volume of trade turnover has amounted to $3.5 billion last year. Not so long ago, new synergy program has been adopted, according to which it's planned to increase the volume of trade turnover up to $10 billion, and the volume of investments is planned to be increased by $500 million annually.
The President of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, emphasized that in Kazakhstan he feels like in the homeland of his ancestors. The two presidents greeted each other the Turkish way by a double embrace and cheek to cheek. The Kazakh president, who usually speaks Russian, addressed Erdoğan in Kazakh, and at times the two presidents spoke without the help of their interpreters. The countries have achieved the same mutual understanding in economy. Nursultan Nazarbayev emphasized Astana's numerous sites that have been built by Turkish companies, among them the Astana International Airport, the Khanchatir Mall, and the Ramada Plaza Hotel. The two presidents noted integration will only benefit both Ankara and Astana. For instance, the implementation of the common transportation projects will give Turkey access to China, East and Southeast Asia through Kazakhstan, while Kazakhstan will have access to Europe and the Middle East through Turkey. The Eurasian Economic Union opens new business markets for the Turkish businesses, so Astana supports Ankara's intention to create a free trade zone with the EAEU. The volume of Turkish investments in Kazakhstan over the past 10 years has exceeded $1.8 billion. More than 1,000 companies with the Turkish capital are operating on the Kazakh market. Turkey ranks second in the rating of foreign capital after Russia. And even now, in the period of instability of the global economy, joint projects will continue to develop, the president of Kazakhstan underlined. Currently, there are 35 projects, including the construction of wind power plants, Sholkpar and Janatas in the Jambol region, the project on enrichment of the chroming ore in the Aktobia region, the construction of a factory of soft drinks. During the talks, the parties also discussed new plans for cooperation, which involve the production of pharmaceuticals and construction materials. The Kazakh-Turkish industrial zones are being created in Almaty, West Kazakhstan and South Kazakhstan regions. Before the end of the visit, the Turkish president traveled to Turkestan, a city which is considered to be the spiritual center of the Turkic world. A new mosque involving Turkish funds will be opened soon near the Hoja Ahmet Yasawi Mausoleum, a new school, library and a hostel for the international Kazakh-Turkish university students. Also, a stone was laid in the construction of a sports complex and another mosque. For me, it is important that the president of Kazakhstan, the Aksakal of the Turkic world, highly values our cooperation. I am at home of our ancestors and I am happy about that. The fact that I arrived in Kazakhstan on the 550th anniversary of the Kazakh Khanate is very symbolic. I would like to congratulate everyone on this highly significant event. Many Turkish companies are successfully working in Kazakhstan. More than 1,600 enterprises are based in the Turkish capital. It is worth noting that the Turkish business actively took part in the construction of Astana, with the total cost of their subcontracted work totaling some $20 billion.
So, Mr. Akhmetov, by the way, I participated in the Kazakhstan-Turkey Business Forum and was quite impressed by the speeches of both presidents. So, how do you assess the results of the visit of?
The results of the visit of the President of Turkey to Kazakhstan was very enormous, I would say. First of all, we should underline that the two countries are brotherly countries, because as the president of Turkey has underlined that he feels at home in Kazakhstan, because this land is the land of all the Turks who migrated to the west and to the east. And Erdoğan considers Kazakhstan to be the land of his ancestors, of all the Turks. This is one thing. On the other hand, Turkey and Kazakhstan are politically very active, economically very reliable, and trade turnover between the two countries is growing from year to year. And more than 1,000 joint ventures are functioning now. And Turkey is helping Kazakhstan to construct, for example, Astana. And Turkey's builders are very active, not only in Astana and Almaty, in all the regional centers. And they build very qualitative facilities. And Turkey is also interested in free trade with Kazakhstan, not only with Kazakhstan, but with the Eurasian Economic Union members. And Turkey is keenly interested. I think this is a big plus of the visit. On the other hand, during his working visit, Erdoğan has paid a visit to Turkestan in southern Kazakhstan. Besides that, historically, we should say that Kazakh-Turkish International University also has been created with the help of Turkey, and jointly Kazakhstan and Turkey, and thousands of students study there. And this is good for Kazakhstan, because Kazakhstan, this university trains a lot of specialists, not only for Kazakhstan but also for Turkey, or not only for the two countries, but for very many other Turkic-speaking countries. So if we enumerate, a lot of areas can be covered, and I think from this point of view, Erdogan's visit was very fruitful.
And what do you think about the perspectives of the direct investments from Turkey? During the visit, they presented several promising investment projects.
Absolutely. Erdogan underlined that Turkey is interested in bringing in investment into Kazakhstan. As I have already mentioned, that there are very many joint ventures, and on the basis of those joint ventures, big businesses can emerge. And from this point of view, Turkey is keenly interested in bringing in investment, and we should welcome this kind of initiative. And I think Eurasian Economic Union is attracting very many other countries, not only Turkey. Vietnam is one of other countries who is keenly interested in free trade zone in this area. And in future, I think this kind of ties will increase, not only the two countries, but very many other countries of the region. India, for example, or Pakistan, or Iran, very many other countries can enjoy, for example, free trade with this Eurasian Economic Union. That's why Erdogan's visit will give a big impulse or impetus for the development of economic and cultural and political relations between the two countries.
The cooperation between Kazakhstan and the Islamic Republic of Iran is the possibility of development of trade, economic and political relations, as well as an extremely important issue today for peace and security in the region. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Zarif arrived with a working visit in Kazakhstan. He held a number of meetings in Astana. Our next story has the details of the visit.
Kazakh President Nursultan Nazarbayev received the Foreign Minister of Iran, Mohammad Zarif, in Akkorda. During the meeting, the president stressed that Kazakhstan sees Iran as a close political and economic partner, and relations with the country have always been developing despite various difficulties. In addition, Nursultan Nazarbayev congratulated Mohammad Zarif with the results of the talks held in Lausanne, which were achieved thanks to the fruitful work of the foreign policy of Iran. The Iranian foreign minister sent regards to Nursultan Nazarbayev on behalf of the President of the Islamic Republic. The minister also expressed special gratitude for the help in negotiating with the countries of the six world powers on the Iranian nuclear issue. He noted that Kazakhstan and Iran have great prospects for cooperation in a number of sectors related to the transit of raw materials and minerals, industrial and road construction. Mohammad Zarif also met with his counterpart Kazakh Foreign Minister Yerlan Idrisov. During the meeting, Idrisov noted that our country is hoping for a successful conclusion of negotiations on the Iranian nuclear program by signing a comprehensive agreement by the end of June this year. Yerlan Idrisov emphasized that negotiations are essential to improve the security and global trade and economic climate in the region and the world. Mohammad Zarif continued the talks on strengthening the ties between Kazakhstan and Iran with the chairman of the Senate, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. The Senate Speaker had invited the Iranian parliamentarians to visit Astana. I have established trusting relations with all Iranian presidents. I have met with the current president Hassan Rouhani 4 times last year. Our countries have great prospects for cooperation. Much work has been done within the framework of the revival of the Silk Road. The railway from Kazakhstan, with access to the Persian Gulf, will contribute to the strengthening of economic ties. We also cooperate on the Caspian Sea issues. Kazakhstan and Iran are friendly countries with a common history and culture. Our countries have similar positions toward many international and regional issues. Since the visit of the President Hassan Rouhani to Kazakhstan, the level of cooperation between the two countries in trade and economic cooperation has increased significantly. We hope that the return visit of Nursultan Nazarbayev to Iran will give a new impetus to the strengthening of economic ties.
So, Mr. Akhmedov, how important is the Kazakhstan's role in the international negotiations on the Iranian nuclear issue?
As you remember, Kazakhstan initiated, for example, its help, its aid to discuss, for example, the Iranian nuclear program. Initially, one meeting was held in Almaty, I think. And now, just a few years before, those 6 countries have negotiated with Iran, and they signed a frame agreement. And the final agreement will be signed at the end of June. Big progress has been advanced and has been achieved. And from this point of view, Kazakhstan always supports the peaceful Iranian nuclear program. And not only this program is interested by both sides, but I would say Iran is keenly interested in importing, for example, wheat and very many other products from Kazakhstan. On the other hand, now Kazakhstan used to be a landlocked country, but after the railway through Turkmenistan to Iran was established, now I think this road will be very active, and it will bring a lot of revenues to Kazakhstan's economy, not only to Kazakhstan's economy, but also Turkmenistan's and also Iranian and the Gulf countries. Landlocked Kazakhstan will get through access to the Gulf, and through the Gulf to the Indian Ocean and to the oceans. From this point of view, the contacts, economic relations and the political relations between the two countries, I think will have great future. Mm-hmm. And both countries are keenly interested in developing these kind of ties. By the way, our president has underlined that he has met Mohammad Rouhani 4 times last year, and I think the Foreign Office has declared that our president is expected to visit, to pay a reciprocal visit to Iran. And if this visit is held, or were held, I would say, it will also give great impetus to the further relationship further development of economic and political and cultural ties between the two countries. That's why, from this point of view, the working visit of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Iran was very fruitful.
And what areas of cooperation today, in your opinion, are the most promising and relevant for both countries?
Iran is also interested in mining area. And I think Iran is interested in bringing in investment and to explore some of the areas of Kazakhstan. And on the other hand, both Iran and Kazakhstan are members through the Caspian Sea. And on the other hand, peaceful atom also connects the two countries, because Kazakhstan is one of the biggest country which is interested in peaceful atom. That's why in this area is also important. And very many other areas, cultural areas, because we have common heritage, common history, and common culture. Though we speak different languages, but historically we had a lot of common issues in the history. And now Kazakhstan is keenly interested to develop a new Silk Road. And this railroad route through Turkmenistan to Iran is the continuation of Silk Road. And it will be beneficial not only to Kazakhstan, but to all other countries through whose territories the railway goes. That's why I think this kind of cooperation will bring a lot of results. And the visit is very promising.
In a week, the next Sunday, Kazakh citizens will vote. They will elect the president of Kazakhstan for the upcoming 5 years. Kazakhstan will hold presidential elections on April 26. 3 people are running for the presidency: the incumbent president Nursultan Nazarbayev, the candidate from the Communist People's Party of Kazakhstan Turgun Sizdikov, and the self-nominated candidate Abelgazi Kusainov. Let's watch the story to learn details.
The President of the Republic shall be elected by universal, equal and direct suffrage under a secret ballot for a 5-year term in accordance with the Constitution of Kazakhstan. Central and regional election commissions, election headquarters of the presidential candidates, Republican Public Commission on Control over Elections and the long-term observers are all involved in an active work. In addition, the registration of observers is underway and the deadline is April 20. Some 10,000 specially trained domestic observers will monitor the electoral campaign. As of April 14, the Central Election Commission has accredited 630 observers that represent 33 foreign countries, international media, and international organizations. In particular, they are from the OSCE, ODIHR, CIS, SCO, the Cooperation Council of Turkic-speaking states, and the Parliamentary Assembly of the Turkic-speaking states. On Monday, the heads of the OSCE ODIHR Election Observation Mission met with the members of the Republican Public Commission on Control over the Elections. The mission intends to send about 400 short-term observers who will work on the day of voting. A high social activity of voters is observed in the regions. More than 9.5 million citizens have the right to vote in the country. The voting will begin on April 26 at 7 a.m. and will end at 8 p.m. local time at the polling stations. More than 9,700 polling stations will operate throughout the country, and about 65 more sites will be open abroad in foreign embassies of Kazakhstan. According to the law on elections, observers from foreign states and international organizations that have accreditation certificate issued by the Central Election Commission may monitor the work on the voting stations on the day of election. Representatives of foreign mass media with certificates of the Kazakh Foreign Ministry may attend the voting as well. Their number at polling stations is not limited. The CEC needs to share our experience with foreign friends and colleagues. I have just returned from Mangistau. All polling stations are ready. There, pictures of candidates can be seen everywhere. Offices for observers have been provided. Everything is good at the moment.
So, Mr. Akhmetov, let's talk about the observers. What factors the observers consider when assessing the election process usually?
All the observers, including our own observers, their mission is to provide or to ensure rule of law. that this presidential election were held within the framework of election law and within the framework of international standards. And this is the only target, I would say. On the other hand, Kazakhstan is keenly interested in to deploy its own observers. As you know, almost 10,000 observers have been trained.
Domestic and international.
Domestic and international. And I think it will bring good results, because our own observers will also pursue the rule of law. And they will be deployed in all the election commissions all over the country. And besides, last time, for example, I participated in the meeting with the representatives of ODIHR and OSCE in their headquarters here in Astana. And we discussed a lot of issues. The ODIHR representatives asked a lot of questions, and we gave answers. And we are also we came to the conclusion that we follow the same track. Their mission, their target is rule of law, and our target is also rule of law. So the voters or observers, they shouldn't interfere in the election commission's work, but they should observe. If they find out, for example, some shortcomings, and those shortcomings should be eliminated in future. And from this point of view, I think this election will comply with the international law. And both international observers, and besides there are several hundred, I think, and our own observers will do their work very accurately, I would say. I'm a member and you are a member of the public.
And you, as a member of this Republican Committee of Control,
yes,
for the present election, how do you assess the current situation of compliance to the legislation?
Everything, we are committed. The Public Commission is committed to observe the situation all over Kazakhstan. To observe the work of the election commissions, not only in the capital of Kazakhstan or in Almaty and other regional centers, but all over Kazakhstan. Because almost, as I have just mentioned, that about 10,000 election commissions or ballot points will work. And observers will be involved everywhere. Both international observers, both domestic observers. I think for the time being, I should underline that there is no violence of rules all over Kazakhstan. And all the regions are ready for the coming election.
The 42nd plenary meeting of the CIS Interparliamentary Assembly and the Parliamentary Assembly of the Collective Security Treaty Organization held in St. Petersburg. The members of the Parliament of Kazakhstan, Russia, Belarus and Armenia, and now Kyrgyzstan, have worked together on basic laws and discussed a number of issues related to integration and security. A delegation from Kazakhstan was headed by the Speaker of the Senate, Kasym-Jomart Tokayev, and the Speaker of the Majlis, Kabibullah Jakupov.
Kazakhstan members of parliament held numerous business meetings and negotiations within 2 days. In May, it will be exactly a year since the signing of the agreement on the establishment of the Eurasian Economic Union. During this time, the outlined mechanisms were worked out in practice. New economic unification has entered into force since January 2015. The EAEU work was discussed under the third Eurasian Economic prospective international forum. As the Speaker of the Majlis, Khabibullah Jakupov noted, Eurasian economic integration is gaining momentum every day. At the same time, he believes that it is necessary to strengthen economic cooperation. For this, Jakupov proposes to adopt a series of measures to enhance bilateral trade. Participants of the forum agreed that in general the prevailing format of the EA-EU is convenient to many countries. Kyrgyzstan this year will join the Union as well. And more than 40 states are ready to sign an agreement on the free trade zone. Vietnam is eager to become the first such country. The decisions taken at the December meeting of the organization, which held in Moscow, were discussed at the session of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Collective Security Treaty Organization. Then the main issue was the development of crisis response system and information security problems. Using the geographical location of the Integration Association, developing transport and logistics infrastructure, we could become a bridge between East and West, an integral and important component of the global economy. Thus, the Eurasian Economic Union will become a factor of solidarity and global dialogue format. Large-scale economic projects begin to be implemented with such economic giants like China and India. Cooperation with them has the principal advantage. After all, we export raw materials along with high-tech products and create a joint venture based on the Eurasian technologies.
So, Mr. Akhmetov, what can you say about the prospects of expanding the free trade area?
Of course, free trade area is very important not only for Kazakhstan but for all the countries around us. It is also important for Russia, and it's also important for the CIS countries and the Eurasian Economic Union countries. And this meeting, which was held in Petersburg, was very important, and our delegation headed by the head of Senate, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, and by the Speaker of the Majlis, Khabibullah Jakupov, they held several meetings because cooperation, free trade are the main issues of the meeting, parliamentarians, because all of us expect that this Eurasian Economic Union will bring good results to all the participants of this union, and not only the participants, member states, but other countries like Turkey, for example, like Vietnam, and very many other countries who are keenly interested in free trade. Because as we are well aware that the principles of Eurasian Economic Union coincide or don't contradict, for example, the principles of the UN. And on the other hand, Kazakhstan is expected to be a member to the World Trade Organization. And the principles of World Trade Organizations are also close to the principles of Eurasian Economic Union. That's why free trade was one of the main issues. Security was one of the another main issues of which has been discussed in Petersburg. I think these kind of meetings are held annually, very frequently. The main target is to continue peaceful development in this large area, in the Eurasian area, I would say.
But let's also mention that our president many times underlined that the Eurasian Economic Union is an economic union,
Absolutely.
not political.
Absolutely.
So, and for not misunderstanding the situation,
yes.
I think this interparliamentary assembly should be focused only on economic issues.
Absolutely, you are quite right, because this kind of union should be only economic union, and it's our target, not political, only economic union, free trade, free trade. To increase trade turnover between the countries, to bring investments to each other, to open new jobs, to provide new jobs, and to strengthen the well-being of the people who live in this big area.
And what is important that we don't have any political
Absolutely.
any political organizations like in the European Union. So in European Union, it's a political integration. So they have the common parliament.
But though they have a lot of experience, but at the same time they have a lot of discrepancies, as you know. Look, take the situation in Greece, for example, or unemployment among the youth, for example, in Western European countries, in Portuguese, for example.
It's the biggest challenges for EU.
Absolutely. And the European Union, I think, should be also interested in free trade with the Eurasian Economic Union. If we follow this track, this is, I think, the only way to develop economic development and free trade development in this big area. Not European, not Asian, but Eurasian area.
Just one remark, because the European Union and the Eurasian Economic Union, they are not equal as organizations, because European Union is a political integration entity.
I mean, though there is difference, but if you take each country of the European Union and each country of the Eurasian Economic Union are keenly interested to develop free trade.
The 200th anniversary of the publication of the first book Korkyt Ata has been celebrated in Paris. The concert devoted to the heritage of Korkyt Ata was held in the UNESCO headquarters. Musicians from Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkey, Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan performed Kazakh ancient instrumental pieces, Kobus.
Korkyt was the famous Turkic poet and composer of the 9th century, honored by many peoples of Central Asia. It was him who invented the oldest violin-like string instrument, kobuz. Created on the steppes of the current Kizilorda region, the instrument has acquired different forms among different nations. However, experts say that it is the Kazakhs who have the model closest to the original version this day. Korkyt Ata left a priceless musical heritage. Musicians commemorated Korkyt by performing his compositions. There are about 20 pieces and each cue has its own history. The Korkyt Ata collection of tales serves as a written literary monument of the Turkic peoples, where Korkyt was the author and a character. There are lots of admonitions, proverbs, tags and words of wisdom in the collection. As noted by the Kazakh Secretary of State being in France as part of the work and visit, today the image of Korkyt is the golden bridge for cultural and spiritual traditions of Turkic peoples throughout Eurasia. Meanwhile, in the framework of her work and visit, the Secretary of State met with representatives of the French educational organizations. The parties agreed to hold this year's regular inter-university forum. It is planned to expand the list of majors in the newly established Sorbonne Kazakhstan University. It should be noted that the sphere of education as well as cultural cooperation between the two countries have always been a priority. Currently, about 500 Kazakh students study in France, and their number is to be increased. The ceremony promotes our national art and the connection between Turkic worlds with each other at the same time. The bridge of friendship is, of course, necessary, and Korkyt Ata becomes a link in today's evening. The Secretary of State expressed her wishes regarding the improvement of quality of higher education, and we confirmed our readiness for this sort of cooperation. We have certain ideas, and I think that perhaps we will be able to examine educational projects in detail in the Kazakh-French Educational Forum in the next meeting.
So, Mr. Akhmetov, what do you think is the role of the Korkyt Ata's heritage?
I've just arrived from Paris, and we spent 3 days in the headquarters of the UNESCO, because this program was prepared or initiated by the International Turkic Academy. And this initiative was supported by Turkmenistan, by the government of Turkmenistan, and also Turkey, Kazakhstan, and Azerbaijan. A lot of artists came from those countries and from Kazakhstan. And one fact was very interesting. National Academy of Culture, which is situated in Astana, headed by Ayman Musakhotchayeva, brought a big orchestra, and it was very important. And Azerbaijan also brought a very nice orchestra, and Turkmens also brought, and Uzbekistan was represented by artists from Karakalpakstan, and a lot of melodies were played on the scene. And here I want to underline that this program was dedicated to the 200th anniversary of the book of Korkyt Ata, and it coincided with the 70th anniversary of UNESCO. And in the headquarters of UNESCO, our State Secretary Gulchara Abdukalikova inaugurated this concert. I wouldn't say that it was pure concert. It was also cultural and scientific event. And a lot of scientists came to Paris. And a number of reports have been read from the scene about Korkyt Ata and about his heritage, and of course Kobuz, because Korkyt Ata is considered to be the father of Kobuz, and Kobuz is a very ancient instrument. If you take violin, the violin appeared very later time, and Kobuz is the prototype of these kind of instruments like violin. And the artists from those countries who participated, they sounded or they played a lot of melodies. Some of the melodies belonged to Korkyt Ata. Mm-hmm. And from this point of view, I should also underline that Kobuz and the violin they were played for the first time from the scene of UNESCO, for the first time. Mm-hmm. And the most important part was that, and everybody enjoyed, and the audience applauded standing. Wow. It was a powerful concert. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, it was a historical concert, I would say. Mm-hmm. It brought all the Turkic-speaking peoples mm-hmm. together, and the hall contained, I think, about 1,000 seats. The hall was full, and the concert was very, I would say, it was a big success.
Mm-hmm. It's nice to hear about such success.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akhmetov. Hope to see you next week.
Thank you.
Finally, here is a brief preview of the events of the coming week. On Thursday, April 23, Astana will host the 17th session of People's Assembly of Kazakhstan. On the same day, the Eurasian Business Forum will open in Almaty. And on Sunday, April 26, Kazakh citizens will elect the President of Kazakhstan. We will discuss this and other important events in our next program. Thank you for watching, best of luck and goodbye.